Hey Tarot Sphere, it's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures, and I am refilming for the bajillionth time my review of the Universal Mind Oracle. I thought I finally had it last night, and then it turns out I left the microphone under the desk so you could hear my feet kicking and shuffling papers. So super awesome. But anyway, I'm going to take that as a sign from the universe to stop being such a negative Nancy about this deck, because it actually is a super beautiful deck, and I think I just have a little bit of butthurt over the way that the Kickstarter was run. But I am going to touch on it a little bit because I do think it's important. If you are a deck creator, which I am not, but I am a Kickstarter pledger, I actually pledge quite a bit for decks on Kickstarter. I think it's important to realize how your campaign comes across. So when I saw this deck, I saw the images and I thought to myself, oh my God, that's beautiful and I need it to live. And I was lucky enough to early bird pledge for this deck for $35. And with the shipping, it brought it to I want to say it brought it to $43, $44. I don't quite remember at this point because it was like a month or so ago. And then I made the mistake of I made the mistake of pledging before I read the campaign. And when I finally did read the campaign, it turns out that, and this is important, because this is where I'm going to say, this is really important, because your stretch goals and the way they come across are really going to make or break your campaign, especially if you post your stretch goals with your original campaign. This deck has 44 cards in it, and the artist she stated in her campaign that she feels like energetically this deck needs 11 more cards. And she couldn't make them because she had a hard drive mishap, which is really sad. And she lost a lot of photos, which that's no fun for anybody. So flash forward to the stretch goals. The original funding goal, if you're not familiar with Kickstarter, you have your original funding goal, which means that if it funds, the project happens. And then stretch goals traditionally are for either additional product or improvements to the product. For example, I pledged for the Arcanus Tarot, and then stretch goals were, if it reached a certain amount, that he was going to put foil on the deck, and then if it reached another amount, you got an enamel pin, and if you reached another amount, there was something, it was a sticker or something. I don't quite remember that anymore either. And monetarily, the goals were pretty, they were pretty not easy to reach, but they were obtainable goals. So anyway, back to her goals. So it was $4,400 to fund the project, which she reached, and I think it took her long to reach it. She thinks it's because she doesn't have enough of a following, and I don't think that's her issue. I think her issue was her stretch goals, because the first stretch goal was if the campaign reached $10,000, which was $5,600 above the original funding goal, she was going to travel and take pictures so she could create 11 cards, which is okay. And then the goal above that was an additional $5,000. So for $15,000, people who pledged for a deck would then get the expansion pack for free. So as somebody who pledges on Kickstarter, I kind of took issue that for more than double the original funding goal, she was going to take a vacation, which is kind of how it, she was going to travel for the summer, and it's just okay. And then there was going to be, and then we could have the option to buy that expansion pack. But if we spent another $5,000, we then got the expansion pack. And it's just, that is not a way to thank your supporters, is being I'm going to travel, and then you can buy a thing. No. And then she had let it, then she was well, I'm still going to create 11 cards, even if I don't reach the travel goal. I'll take the pictures locally and create them, and then you can buy that expansion pack. So I just think that the way she went about the expansion pack, and then she's releasing a second edition, which is going to include the 11 additional cards, B, come in an upgraded box, and C, going to have gold foiling around the edges. So once I learned that, I was just well, why the hell did I pledge then? Because like, so now if I want this deck to be complete when she finally does come out with the expansion pack, I have to buy 11 more cards, which I don't know that I'm willing to do. Or I have the option of waiting for the second edition to come out, which she has already stated is going to be more expensive than the first edition. And by the way, if you want to buy this first edition now, you can do so on our website. Now, I'll post to it below, but it's $55 now, plus shipping, which is, I think for this deck is a little, that is too expensive. That is way too expensive, especially when you can get other decks with more cards and gilded edges and etc., etc. Like you can easily get indie decks for like 40 some odd dollars these days. So I think $55 for an incomplete deck that you have to later buy an expansion pack for is ridiculous. And I think that her stretch goals were like, I think her stretch goals probably put off a lot of customers, because I know if I hadn't pledged, I wouldn't have after having read that. But I am not, and I guess I have the option to unpledge. I've seen people do that on some campaigns, but I am not the kind of person who's going to pledge and then take that pledge back, because I don't believe that that's right either. So I will say, for a $35 deck, this is absolutely worth it. For a $55 deck, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it at all. But anyway, let's go ahead and review the actual deck, because there's some good and there's some bad with it. It's for a first attempt for a deck. I'm gonna come right out and say that the cards are beautiful. And I could never create anything as cool as what Michelle created. I'm actually taking nothing away from her artistic talent, because she certainly got some. But the deck lacks almost a cohesion. So anyway, let's just jump in. So the deck came in this tuck box. Well, it's not a tuck box. It's a clamshell. It doesn't have it's a cute box, but it doesn't have the finger cutouts on the side to help you get the lid off. So you have to kind of shake it open. Otherwise, you have to dig your fingernails in to take it out. I will say it's nice that the inside is finished in white instead of being finished in like plain cardboard craft papery style stuff, which sometimes happens. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a pretty sturdy box. It's a nice chipboard. It makes that noise. It'll keep your deck safe. And on the back, it describes the deck a little bit. It's kind of it's a good description. So let's see. All right, so the card, this is an NPC deck. This is actually my first experience with an NPC deck, makeplayingcards.com, where you can create your own deck and you can print as little or as many as you want. And I have to say the cardstock is decent. It's not like super amazing. It's thin and bendable. This is their 330 GSM linen finish. So it does have like a nice smooth finish. It's not like super luxurious. Again, I'm going to compare it to Star Child Tarot. It's not as luxurious as something like that, and it's not as thick as something like that. But it is definitely sturdy. Like, this will hold up. I'm not worried about like the edges chipping or anything like that. I'm not worried about rifle shuffling either, because it is so bendy. So I think this deck will be able to, like, it's like it's a usable, workable deck. It's not like something that you gently shuffle. The size of the cards, though, kind of big. If you have small hands, rifle shuffling this is going to be difficult for you, and hand over hand might also be difficult for you. I have big hands though, so it's okay. But again, you're going to have to hand over hand this way if you have smaller hands. But otherwise, I don't have an issue. If you're a member of the Man Hands Club, you should be all right. So the deck is 44 cards plus an extra 4 for like the title and thank you cards. So she's got welcome, like the title card. She's got a thank you card with credits and credits for stock photos and all that good stuff. And she's got a how to use, which is just kind of like tips for journaling and how to read the cards intuitively, it looks like. Um, Yep, and it's got the link for the guidebook on there because it comes with a printable PDF guidebook. There is no little white book that comes with this deck. There is no guidebook that comes with this deck, aside from one that you have to print out. So that's kind of sad. I would have liked to have at least seen. I know MPC has the option of adding a booklet, so I would have liked to have at least seen her create something like that. But a PDF, it's not the first time I've had to print out a PDF for a deck, and I'm sure it won't be the last. But again, if you're buying this deck for $55, I would like to have seen a little white book. I mean, I got it for $35, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. Okay, so this card drives me crazy. This is one of my biggest, if you're doing a second edition, Michelle, get rid of this card. This is ridiculous. This is a key for the cards and their corresponding elements, which is great, but I mean, like, what do you do with that? Like, I'm not going to refer, like, it's not like they're in any kind of order. It's not like it's like 1 through 10 is air, and 11 through 20 is earth, and this is fire, and this is this. And some of the cards, it's not really quite easy to know what it would be. Like this one, I think could work for either air or earth, because you've got like the element of plants and spiders and stuff, which are very earthy. They're very earthy critters, and they're very like planty, and like, you know, you've got like some ground and some foliage down here, but then you also have the element of air at the top of the card with like the loftiness of the spider web, and like it kind of stretches across, like you've got a very airy feeling up there with the very earthy feeling down here. But there's nothing on the card to indicate what element this is, and I think you could easily just get rid of this card and put the elemental symbol down here with the keyword. That's just a change that I would make. I think it would be so much easier for everybody, especially if you're a professional and you decide you're going to use this deck. You're not whipping out, like in client readings, you're not whipping out this card in front of your clients, because it's very, it's not very professional. Although actually I just had a conversation with this on a forum, but it was for a special occasion. But I will caveat this with the phrase, in most cases it is not very professional to pull out a key guide in front of your clients for a paid reading. So I think that kind of precludes like a layer of this deck for professionals. Like it just kind of like can't really use that too much. Which is a shame, because I think that's like a really cool layer that she's added on there. But again, I would have liked to have seen even like just like the little triangle symbol, or like a little pictograph or something, like of a flame or like a wind, like something to kind of indicate what element this is on the actual card itself. So anyway, the images are gorgeous. There is no two ways around that. Like, these are just so beautiful. The deck lacks a little bit of cohesion as far as photoshopping is concerned. Like, some of it is like, it's got like this, I think you'll notice that overall the deck has like this airy, ethereal kind of a thing going on. I'm actually going to pull this card aside because I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Like lots of purples, lots of blues. When people show up in it, usually, for the most part, it's not a very people-y deck. Oh, this was one of the ones that kind of sticks out because, again, like you've got like that earthy kind of ethereal thing, and then this bunny is just like, he's there. He's just there. like so that's part of like, I think that maybe this could have had like that layer of like, not hazy, but like kind of that less crisp look to the bunny. Like, he could have been worked in maybe a little bit better. Oh, sorry about that. I am at work today. This is one of my favorite cards in here, Acceptance. And this is my other favorite card, actually, is the Lesson. Oh, and this is another card that I really, really love too, is Detox. You can't see it in the photo on the Kickstarter page, but you here she's added like you know, the pentagram with the corresponding earth with the corresponding elements. But again, this is where the element thing kind of gets confusing, because this to me is an earth card. You could maybe argue water because the leaves are wet. And then you could also argue ether because it's got all of the elemental symbols here. So this is like, where does this card fall? Like, what's the primary like elemental meaning behind this? And you would have to refer to the key guide. And as you can see, people don't show up too much in this deck. Like I said, it's either like just body parts or small, tiny little people. But that is something we will discuss in a minute. The keywords are actually, they're really good. I have to say the keywords are fantastic. You do have the occasional card where keywords are shared, and I don't think I particularly enjoy that. Mostly because there is, it's like a duality there, like patterns and systems. Patterns, I think, are just, like for the most part, if you're gonna, if in a nature deck, patterns are something that just kind of happen naturally, like Fibonacci sequence or what have you. Like, it's just something nature happens to do, and you're like, whoa, like, it just, like, they're kind of a serendipitous, kind of a thing. And systems and like, just, they're just, patterns are just kind of things that just kind of happen because of human and or universal nature, as opposed to systems, which are something that are purposefully put in place. So you've got that duality there. So I think that could have been better served as two different cards. And then there's another one in here, details and awareness, but that's kind of like, again, two different things. Not necessarily opposites, but two like kind of different feeling things. Oh, I love this one, life-giving nutrition. I think it's funny because mushrooms actually feed on dead and decaying matter. So there is a layer of not irony, but like a circle of life kind of thing going on there. Also, I have a lovely singing voice, don't I? This is a, like, again, these are all super beautiful. Again, like a person in tiny silhouette. I'm pointing this out for a reason, by the way. You've got purpose and duty, again, with the two words that mean two different things. Purpose is like, it's you know, like what you're put on this earth to do. It's your passion. It's just like, it's an inherent part of you. It cannot be helped. It's like a nature, like a natural force. And duty is a social construct. It is an obligation that you have that you like, but you might not want to do it. Like, those are two very different things to me. So the fact that they share a card is just really, that is going to be confusing. So you've got roots and branches, again, two different things. I am and mantra, quench, mindfulness. This is another one of my favorite cards. Safe passage, again, where the elemental message is kind of mixed up. You've got a very, I get that compasses, even for navigating the woods, have the compass rose in them, but usually when you see something that's kind of styled like that, this is a very nautical compass rose to me, and it's in the middle of the woods. So I would read that as either water or earth. You've got a unicorn, or a Pegasus, or I guess that would be an alicorn because it's got a horn and wings. You've got swamp and less is more. That's a great card. I have yet to see this phrase in an oracle deck, and it is about time to see it. So thumbs up, Michelle. That is awesome. I love that, because sometimes that is just, sorry everybody, sometimes less is more. And then keep going, which I actually got this message the other day while filming the video originally, so it'll be interesting to see if it pops up again today, won't it? Okay, so some of the downsides with some of the images I want to point out. When people do show up in the deck, like I said, usually it's in tiny silhouette, like super teeny tiny. It's not too like taking away from like the natural beauty of the photo, like it's super naturey. Still, like, and it's just like, it's not too bad. There are a few cards where that doesn't happen though. You've got this one, this is Manifest. And this photo is very staged, as opposed to things like these. Even like the bunny, like that I think could probably be have a little more of an airy feeling about him. Like this bunny wasn't staged. This waterfall wasn't staged. This lightning strike wasn't staged. Like there's just, this was though. And I don't know that I hate when people stage photos, especially in a nature deck. Like there's really no need for people in them really at all, I don't think. So when the people do show up, it's like a stark contrast. It's very jarring to me. So you've got a model reaching for a star in a tree. Like even if she had just found like this rando tin star in a tree, that would have been way better. But you've got a model here. This card I just pulled out because it's very busy, and it's kind of a very different feeling that it evokes from the rest of the deck. Like it almost looks like it belongs in a separate deck. Oh, here's another. Okay, so this is the one that I dislike the most in this deck, which is Divine Masculine. So you've got this deck that doesn't really feature a lot of people, and then all of a sudden you've got this disembodied torso and it's just kind of like floating around with a swan, and I don't even know what to even begin to do with this, with its really horrible tattoos, and I just don't even know. I just like this is just so, I would love to see this card redone. It's so and then you've got the Divine Feminine card, where again, like you've got like this is just a very, I'm gonna pull just a different card, like compared to the rest of the deck where you've got like this super airy feeling. Like you then have like this Technicolor dream coat thing going on here, and it's so jarring and different from the rest of the deck. And then there's a few cards where the photoshopping could probably be a little smoother. Like you've got these two where the flowers are just like, this starts to look a little bit more like the Lioness Oracle to me than this is like a little more blatantly collage style. It almost looks like the flowers were cut out of a magazine and placed, as opposed to photographed and photoshopped in. I mean, like, well, clearly they were photoshopped in, but I think maybe blended to look a little more organic in the image would be really nice. Oh, and then the last two cards that really I disliked, creators of the new Earth. I think if this, first of all, I'm not a big fan of kids. I'm just going to come right out and say it. So when I see them in a deck, I just don't connect to them at all. And then I basically came out a 30-year-old cynical adult. I have been just a grown-up since I was since I myself was a wee bean. I didn't even like kids then. Very solitary person growing up, but I just don't identify with them. I don't connect with them. I do not like them. Which, love me or hate me for it. I suppose that is what it is. But this picture could have been done way differently. So whether or not I like children in my deck aside, this is a kid in a spirit Halloween robe, and we're looking up his nose. This is very like, oh, what is going on there? Like this is like so staged, it's not even funny. So I think honestly, if I was her, I would have taken him, I would have shrunken him down, and I would have stuck him on top of this cliff. I feel like that would have been like a way more effective image than having like this stark, I mean, it just like, I just can't even with that card right now. And then the last card, I actually like this card a lot. My main complaint with it is how it was bordered, is the Unknown card. I love the image on it. I love the darkness. I do not like how she took the black all the way to the border, only because you can see it in your deck on the edge. And I actually have this complaint about everybody that frames, like especially the tarot decks that frame that border like the suits in different colors. Like the Science tarot deck, there's like a green, a yellow, a red, and a blue. You can actually see the colors on the side of the deck. So I'm gonna stick this card in here, and going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I'm pinching the edges of this deck together, but you can see where the black card is. Like, there's a line right here. There it is. There's the black card. And then when you fan the deck out, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So I would just say either border this whole deck in black or change this one to the regular gray border, which I actually do like a lot. You know, the border I think is actually really cool. I like it. I suppose that problem will be fixed though when it's gilded, but because of this one, and this is like a personal pet peeve, I'm sure there's people out there that like do not mind, but because of this one card, because of this one line right there, you can see it right there, I'm going to have to edge this deck now in black, and I didn't want to have to do that because it's just going to stare at me in the face and it's going to bother me until I fix it. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and do a pull with this deck. It is absolutely, it shuffles like a dream. I've been shuffling it a few times, but it shuffled like this right out of the box. Rifle shuffling is great. Hand over hand is great. The cards don't stick together. I actually really am very happy that I got a chance to experience this cardstock from MPC, because if I ever like was to make a deck, like I would probably just do it with stock images, but if I was ever to do something like that, I would order this stock. Not saying that I am or have plans, so don't get too excited, everybody. Not that you would be excited for it, because I'm like, I've got no artistic talent where images are concerned. I can make you a fursuit head, no problem, but I cannot make you a tarot deck. I cannot draw. I cannot do anything with a pen or paper. That is all my sister got that talent. So anyway, we're gonna pull a card for a draw. Like I said, I kind of almost wish she had never said that the cards needed 11 more, like the deck needed 11 more cards, because I do think that the deck works really well with 44. The downside with a deck that small being that you can't do overly large spreads. Like I would do a 3-card spread with this, no problem. I would maybe even go up to a 5-card spread, but I wouldn't do like a Celtic cross or anything with this. Just because, again, you tend to water down the messages of the deck the more cards you use when you have a really small deck. So let's go ahead and pull a card. Ooh, and I got Epiphany. So this is a really cool card. Epiphany is like when you have like that aha moment, right? And I think maybe I had that today when I had to refilm this video. Like, stop being such a negative Nancy about things, because this deck really is great. Also, I don't know, I would love to have an epiphany today about a lot of things, but it's taking that time. Actually, you know what? This is really cool, because epiphanies usually happen when you shut your brain off and let your subconscious do its thing. So I think that's kind of the message we're getting here today, you guys. I think it's maybe time to, like, if there's anything you're worrying about or anything you're fretting about or a problem you have that you can't solve, assign that problem to your subconscious. Just be like, I am letting this go for the day. I'm gonna let my subconscious brain handle it, and I'm gonna let my intuition handle it, and I'm gonna go about my day. And I think you're gonna find at some point you're gonna have like a oh my goodness moment. So hopefully like we all get to have our epiphany or aha moment today. And if you do have an aha moment, please put it down below. I would love to know what your aha moment is. So that is this deck. I'm gonna upload this video again. I actually put the last video I uploaded, finished and posted. I think 4 people saw it, and then I made it private. So to those people who are just like, where the hell did that video go? I apologize. Here's the new one with the better audio. And I don't know. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you later this evening. I'm doing live readings tonight. We will feature this deck, and I brought a few other decks from home, so that'll be really fun. And thank you, Tarosphere, for listening to me ramble on, and hopefully you like take 45 bajillion for the Universal Mind Oracle.